Hello everybody, good morning and welcome to the United Stand. This is your latest Manchester United news and transfer news. We've got a huge update in relation to Raphael Varane this morning. He skipped training and this deal finally looks like it is ours this week. Going to happen imminent. Many updates from Spain, many updates across Europe from credible sources, and actually nothing really from the UK, which I don't really care about. I've said this before. I think the UK press have their value. They are good in certain areas, but when it comes to this deal, they've been slow. It's been slow sports news across the UK, and at some point they'll probably start saying it's imminent, but the place to be is Real Madrid, Spain, and Fabrizio Romano on this story. I must say there is a little bit of repetition because we were in this position a week ago, and I can understand why people might be a little bit cynical about that. But the updates are very, very good. Also want to just say thanks everyone who's saying welcome back. Had a good day at the Clash Creators yesterday. Still got some grass in my teeth from spending so much time with goats on the football pitch. But yeah, it was a good day and great content on the United Stand as well. Well done to Levin and the people who did the show last night. I was listening to that on the drive back. So check out @GoldbridgeMark on Instagram for some wand of left foot and right foot action. I'm sure you've seen it. But let's get on about this. Raphael Varane to Manchester United. This is from Tier 1 sources in Spain. He's not at training today. Modric, Kroos, Bale, all other players involved in the Euros, they are back training this morning. Raphael Varane isn't. There are some people in Spain who think that this deal could be hours away. Let me give you a broad stroke of where we're at. Jimmy Garner says United knew this deal was getting wrapped up this week, hence why Sancho was announced Friday to give them the whole weekend to publish Sancho PR. Maybe, and don't forget the Solskjaer new contract as well. But Romano last night, basically, I mean, the standout bit for me with Romano was that he said no, nothing with other clubs. Varane's focus is on a move to Manchester United, which is also very, very good. Lots of people, both Marca and Sport 1, are saying that the deal is to be around 50 million euros and the deal is imminent. Mention Mbappe at that point as well, because Mbappe is the player. I think Real Madrid think they can get Mbappe this summer because he's got 1 year left on his contract. So there is a feeling that this money from Varane will make the money for Mbappe, available. So Real Madrid very much on board for letting Varane go if the price is right. United wanting Varane obviously at the right price, and Varane most importantly wanting the move. And let me just repeat, Varane is not training this morning with Real Madrid. He did train over the weekend. He did train on Friday. He's not training today. This is significant. Why is he not training today? Why is he not training today? Is it because this deal is imminent? Is it because this deal is hours away? Is it because this deal will be for 50 million euros as well? And I just want to say 50 million euros, I'm absolutely happy with that. This is not 50 million quid, 50 million euros. We heard that Real Madrid want 50 million pounds. That's closer to 60 million euros. If we can get this for 50 million euros, which is about 42 million quid, all right, there might be add-ons, but those add-ons will be, maybe winning a Premier League, things like that. So 50 million euros, very good deal for one of the best centre-backs in the world. Bargain of the summer, which is what Romano said to us on the show last Monday. And we have got Romano on the show this afternoon at 2 o'clock, so make sure you tune in for that. But also, not in training, that's via Tier 1 source in Spain, via Madrid Extra on Twitter. So it's looking very, very good in relation to Raphael Varane. I know we've been down this road many, many times before, and I understand the trepidation. I understand people probably being a little bit nervy about it because we have been in this position before, but it feels like the movement this Monday morning, and as I said, this is none of the UK press. I'm not talking about UK press. This is not The Athletic or Manchester Evening News or BBC or any other good journalist you think there is in the UK. This is not from any of those. This is from Spain. And this is where I've focused a lot of my attention around this transfer, because when it is Real Madrid or it is Barcelona, there are obsessive journalism and news outlets around those clubs that if you want to get to the truth quicker, they're going to give you the truth. And I'm not saying that they're always telling the truth, but they've never been confident that Real Madrid were going to keep Varane. There's never really been any stories about that. Would I increase the percentage, says Hassan? Well, what are we on, 90% club at the moment? I think we've been 97% before, haven't we? I think this deal really is so close you can basically touch it now. I really do. And we are going to be talking about why Sancho's not wearing the number 7 shirt, some regrets about David De Gea, another centre-back, another French centre-back that we've been linked to, another one, not in relation to Varane deal falling through, but in addition to Varane. We'll talk about that. Also a little bit about Pogba and a few other bits as well. But the breaking news this morning is very much around the fact that Raphael Varane is not in training with Real Madrid this morning, and there is no legitimate reason why he wouldn't be. Unless they start saying he's got some sort of injury, which would be a bloody nightmare, then, you know, we could well be getting the announcement of a deal being done at some point today. Now, there's some chat in the live chat. Some people are saying that One Football is saying that the deal's done. I like the One Football app, but I've got to be honest with you, I don't use the One Football app for my deal done on someone like Raphael Varane news. And I you know what, I feel that this community is more intelligent than that over the years. I think we've established the intelligence around here, and I always say this on a transfer when it's this close. Don't be surprised if somebody, you know, there will be these guessing journalists who start saying it's deal done because they want to be first, but you're never going to get that credibility off one deal. You can't. All right, I'll say it now. I tell you what. Oh, what's this? Got a text. Got a text, everybody. Got a text. Raphael Varane to Manchester United. Deal done. Let's gather around the fire pits. I haven't got a text. I haven't got a fire pit. And Raphael Varane to Manchester United is not done. But I could do that. I could tweet it out right now, and people would say he's lying, this, that, and the other. But some people would agree with it. It's not true, because you can guess once, but you can't guess 3 or 4 times. And the people who get it right 3 or 4 times become the credible journalists. So of course people are going to guess, because as I just said, it's so close you can almost touch it. And I will go deal done when the right people say it's deal done. And I know the right people, like I did with Sancho, like I did with Bruno, like you do as well, because I know these people are talking to the people close to the deal. What these people who jump early do is literally jump early and hope that the water's deep enough for them to survive it, because they're jumping early. They're probably going to be okay, but they're jumping early. Seems like we paid Maguire fees for Varane and Varane's fee for Maguire, says Venant. Either way, we've got a good deal. Goldbridge coining wonderful left foot techers. I have a feeling we're going to get a here we go on Thursday, says Joshua Bowwater. I mean, look, we can all play that game. We can all play. We can all say, you know, the deal's going to happen tomorrow or whatever. It could happen today. We could get a here we go today. We could get it tomorrow. Remember, Manchester United are playing on Wednesday night, aren't they? Crossbar challenge techers. All I would say is, I've just got to tell you this story. It's totally about me, but you know, sometimes, you know, I do a lot of shows. I feel I deserve a few seconds. So yesterday at the Clash Creators game, you had people like Jack, Mate, Pieface, Morgs, Thogden, Thogdad, loads of names there. Couldn't name them all. And at half time, I was commentating. At half time, they did a crossbar challenge and they asked me to take place in it. So I hit the crossbar with my right foot, and then it went to sudden death. And I said, you know what? Let's mix it up. I'll try it with my left. Bang, straight away, won it. Techers. But, you know, enough about me. Let's talk about Varane. So, yeah, I think this Varane deal will happen this week. I think it can happen any time. And I think, you know, that game... Is it Wednesday? Are we playing Wednesday night at 8 o'clock against Brentford? Is that the... Have I got that right? So... You know, I'd say today or tomorrow or Thursday, like Joshua Bowwater is right. I don't think they would want to announce that on Wednesday. But remember, Varane can just come over and physically do it. So, you know, I think we do sometimes get a little bit excited, don't we, when we start talking about, oh, it's going to happen today, it's going to happen today. But actually, logically, the official announcement won't be till probably Thursday or Friday, like Joshua says, because he's got to come to the country. But we could get a here we go on that. If you did watch the commentary yesterday on Clash Creators, big shout out to you as well. Can't believe you called Pieface a prat, says Nitram. Well, you know, you've got to be true to yourself. You've got to be true to yourself. You've got to commentate it properly. That's the way it is. The Jack Grealish guy came up to me. You know, the guy who I called the Poundland Jack Grealish. He wasn't very happy afterwards. He came up to me, and Spencer said, "No, you should take it as a term of affection when Goldbridge calls you a Poundland Grealish." And I said to him, mate, you're not Jack Grealish, you're a Poundland Jack Grealish. And that means it's a good thing, because you look a little bit like Grealish and you play a little bit like him, but you're a Poundland version. We're playing in a bloody charity match. You're not playing for England, mate. So, yes, Varane, very, very enthusiastic about this morning. I think we all know it's going to happen. Well, maybe we don't. Maybe some of you don't know it, think it's going to happen. I don't know about that, but it is going to happen this morning. And I think that let's wait and see. We've got Romano on the show this afternoon. Let's wait and see. Before we move on to anything else, though, let me just remind you, Varane has missed training this morning, and everybody in Spain is saying that this deal is imminent for around 50 million euros plus add-ons, which is 42 million pounds. So we'll never pay more than about 50 million for him, which is a bargain. You know, I don't mind add-ons for Varane, but I didn't want 50 million pounds plus add-ons. 42 million plus add-ons is absolutely fine. He's a bargain. He's an 80-90 million pound centre back if he wasn't 1 year left on his contract. So absolutely excited. I think the most exciting thing is he's not in training today. Why is he not in training? I think we'll find out in the next few hours. Apparently he might have a bit of a toe injury, says Asher. But look, as I said, I'd cover it up with an injury as well. But he's going to, you know, Ashil says toe injury, deal in the mud. It's not going to be in the mud, mate. You're in the mud. You're in the mud. You're covered in the mud. You're drowning in your own mud, because this is going to happen. Absolutely. Slow Sports News. Jim White, Varane to Manchester United. It's going to happen, Asher. And you're swimming around in the mud because you've made yourself look a right prat in front of 9,200 people. There you go. Asher in the mud. Sky Sports News. So let's move on. Varane looking very, very good this morning. But there are other updates. I mean, this was a very interesting update. I don't know whether... Let me start with this. So they're both from the Daily Mail, which, look, I speak to people and I tend to keep the same sort of people close and, you know, because I trust them. I've got to say, a lot of the people I know who run Twitter accounts and transfer Twitter accounts, the aggregator accounts, a few of them have said to me this summer that the Daily Mail's a lot better. I don't really rate the Daily Mail as a source for football news, but a lot of people have said to me this summer they're a lot better this summer. So these stories are from the Mail, so you can take it with a pinch of salt like I do, or maybe they're going to be right. There's two big updates from the Mail. The first one is that Manchester United are looking at another centre-back. Now, this has been mentioned by the Manchester Evening News before. It's been mentioned by Luckhurst. Koundé. Manchester United want Koundé from Sevilla in addition to Raphael Varane because he's versatile and he can play at right back. Now, I'm all for this. I like Jules Koundé, and I think that Jules Koundé at Manchester United would be a genius signing because he can play at right back, and we do need a right back to pressure Wan-Bissaka. And what people won't think about with Jules Koundé is they'll think, wow, he's not very good attacking. Mate, watch him play for Sevilla. He comes out of the back a lot. You know, Sevilla play a very freestyle way of playing. They play on their own, and Koundé is a player that brings the ball out from centre back a lot for Sevilla. So, and also he can play centre back. And we are a little bit short at centre back because if we sell Bailly and Twansebi goes on loan and Jones is lying on the treatment table as usual, you've got Lindelof, Maguire and Varane. Very good options, but you've only got three. You buy Koundé, he can play centre-back as well as right-back. So it would be a good deal to bring in Jules Koundé, and the Mail are saying that we're looking at him, and Manchester Evening News have said quite a few times that we're looking at another centre-back. I just don't know where we'd find the £50 million to buy Jules Koundé. So I don't think it can happen, but we'll have to wait and see. Apparently Varane's back at training now. But the thing is, if he is in training, right, people will start laughing in the live chat. But this is a news show. And Tier 1 journalist on on Real Madrid Extra said Varane's not in training an hour ago. So you can only go with the news. So we're not, people will laugh and say this, that and the other. But what do you want to happen on a news show? What the worst thing would be, I don't believe he's in training. He's definitely not in training. Well, if he's in training now, that's just the development of the news. It makes me laugh how sometimes you'll see people in the chat going, oh, it's the same old headline, but it's a news show. It's the 10 o'clock show and it's a news show, and it's always been a news show. So if Varane is in training now, the Tier 1 source from Madrid Extra should be knocked down to a Tier 3 because they've absolutely bantered themselves there. But overall, this deal is going to happen, whether he's in training or not. I was excited he wasn't in training. That made me believe that it could have been happening today. If he is training today, then he is, he's still going to sign for Manchester United. So I'm not massively concerned about that. But we will see. So S. Carinte has said that Varane has now arrived at training, even though an hour ago he said he hadn't. What a prat. There you go. There's an update as well here I just want to bring you. So yes, we're just talking there about Koundé, as I said. And we've also got another update from the Mail. So yeah, I mean, I'd like Koundé to come in as another centre back, but I don't, we haven't got that sort of money. Please give my best friend Vivian a shout out. She passed away at 2 a.m. this morning. Thanks, says Scott Porter. Shout out to Vivian, who passed away this morning. That's from Scott Porter. It's very sad news, actually, Scott. And also Jim Whitebridge. So Koundé has been mentioned, but this also from the Mail. The delay on the Jadon Sancho deal was because he wanted the number 7 shirt, and Ollie refused to speak to Cavani about changing it. Now, I don't believe that. I don't actually believe that. I don't believe that that Manchester United. I don't believe that the deal for Manchester United for Varane was about that. For Sancho. I don't believe the delay for Sancho was because he wanted the number 7 shirt. But this has come out as a news story this morning that was the reason that it got delayed. Apparently, it's all going on. Apparently, the tweet about Raphael Varane not being at training has now been deleted. So I don't know what's going on here now. Let's have a look. It appears that he may not have been at training. Look, who knows? The reality is imminent. That's all we need to know about Varane for the moment. So, who knows? But yeah, there's this story about Sancho, the delay being because he didn't get the number 7 shirt and Ollie refused to speak to Cavani about it. I don't think that was why the Sancho deal was delayed. I think there was some paperwork. But ultimately, I do think there's some truth in that. Bay, why are we not selling Lindelof first? Tabras says. Hey, mate, I'm not the man in charge. I can only give you the news. But I think that with Sancho, he would have wanted the number 7 shirt, but I don't think United would have asked Cavani to give it up because they begged Cavani to stay. Cavani was going to go home to Uruguay and not stay at United for another year. So they begged Cavani to stay. I don't think they're then going to say, can we take the number 7 shirt off you? And to be honest, if I was Cavani, as much as he might go, yeah, give the number 7 shirt to the young lad that's going to be here for a while, I might also go, do one. You've begged me to stay and now you want me to give the number 7 shirt up. Do one. So I think, logically it's worked out well. Menza Millen says, I'm so happy we're signing Varane, but every time I think back to 10 years ago when we signed Phil Jones instead, I wanted to headbutt a wall, says Memza. Hey, just remember Varane's still 28 in his prime. We're still getting a very good deal. And Mike John says, what are the chances we actually clear some deadwood during the window? Best mate Doug is a prat, says Mike John. Look, the funny thing is, I was at that Clash Creators yesterday and a few people wanted pictures. A lot of them weren't United fans and they kept saying, unlucky yesterday against QPR, 4-2, ha, can I have a picture? And I'd grab their phone and throw it. But no, seriously, I'd just go, yeah, you can have a picture, and I don't give a shit about pre-season. But where people are getting their knickers in a twist about this pre-season game is they're not looking at the bigger picture. Losing in a pre-season game doesn't matter. If you watch the watch-along, you know the answer to what I'm about to say. Losing to QPR in a pre-season game doesn't matter. You can't be Ollie out for anything to do with that. And I watched the show last night with Beth and Kev and Jordan and Levin, who was presenting about the Solskjaer and this season and what they think about it. And I know Levin's Ollie out and the others are Ollie in. But I look at that game against QPR at the weekend and I look at last season and I see no difference. I saw a back six. I saw slow tempo. I saw the same tactics as last year. Losing the game, well, you lose the game because of the way you play. And it's pre-season and it doesn't matter. My concerns with the game against QPR was that we got played off the park by QPR. And people were saying it's pre-season, it's a second team. Mate, I'm telling you now, put Pep Guardiola in charge and they would have played tiki-taka football. Put Klopp in charge and they would have pressed high up the pitch and got the ball down the flanks. That's what managers do. You don't have the first team and play one way and then have the reserves and play shit. It's tactics, it's coaching. And I haven't seen any progression in the coaching or the tactics yet in pre-season compared to last year, which apparently we were going to see. And how are we going to see one holding midfielder? We haven't got one. We're going to see a holding 2 because we haven't got a holding 1. And we're going to see very similar football to last season, I fear. But hopefully not. But that's why I was a bit annoyed about the results on Saturday. And also, we've got so much deadwood. There's a story in The Athletic today saying that certain hierarchy at Manchester United are still annoyed that David De Gea was given a contract for 350 grand a week. What hierarchy is this, please? Because I'd like to line that hierarchy up and not do anything sinister. I'd just like to go hypocrite, 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 hypocrite. Stop leaking crap to the press to make yourself look good about a deal that you signed off on. And even if you didn't think De Gea was worth 350k, where have you been for the last 10 years? Hypocrite, hypocrite, hypocrite. Oh, the goalkeeper that was our player of the year nearly every year for 5 years, that's embarrassing. Oh, but you think it's embarrassing that we pay him the money he probably bloody deserves? The player that's been our most relevant player of the last decade, oh, it's embarrassing to give him 350k a week, is it? How's about it's embarrassing to give somebody who's had more injuries than a bloody... Well, I'm not going to say that. Than somebody who's fell down 100 stairs 10 times... Give him 100 grand a week or 80 grand a week on a 5-year deal. Phil Jones. How embarrassing is it to give Andreas Pereira a big 5-year deal when he's clearly not good enough? How embarrassing is it to keep paying Juan Mata 140 grand a week when we never bloody use him? How embarrassing is it to keep Matic on 100 grand a week when he's clearly past it? They're the deals that the hierarchy should be having a look at themselves. How embarrassing is it to consider giving Jesse Lingard a new contract on 100 grand a week when you've got 9 forwards already? So, look. The wages for David De Gea, whether you like it or not, I felt they were justified at the time because we were keeping somebody that actually had deserved those wages. But to say it's now, oh, there's people on the hierarchy who are not happy about it, hypocrites, because you have handed out ridiculous contracts. And at the end of the day, look, is Luke Shaw worth 200 grand a week? Is Rashford and Martial worth 250 grand a week? They're players I like. They are players I like, but... I'll tell you what, compare Rashford's wages and Martial's wages on 250 grand a week. Compare what people like, Premier League winners are getting for Man City and Liverpool. They're on a lot less money than what we pay. So, you know what? These people leaking out that they're not happy about wages for David De Gea, maybe look at the whole squad. Because we are burning millions a week on players that aren't good enough. Millions a week on players that are not good enough. Why aren't we looking at Renato Sanchez as Emperor? Well, we're not looking at him Emperor because we don't need a midfielder like that, I suppose. We don't need another progressive box-to-box player, do we? We need a holding midfielder, and that's not what Renato Sanchez is. That's not what Sabitzer is it? So they can play in the midfield too. I'm convinced Sabitzer can play in the midfield too. I'm convinced Renato Sanchez can play in the midfield too, but they can't play in the midfield too with Pogba. They can't play in the midfield too with Donny. The problem is, they probably can play in the midfield too with McTominay or Fred, but we don't really believe those two are good enough to hold the midfield. We need a holder. Hi Mark, I'm grateful with what transfers we're doing, but don't you feel if we had strikers like Van Persie or Lever, we would be better rather than Martial, says Caleb. We've got Cavani. Charlie says you were comfortable with Saul Niguez. Why not Renato Sanchez? Because I think the traits of Saul Niguez are very different to those of Renato Sanchez. Saul Niguez is more of a disciplined player. I think he's got a better passing range, and I think defensively he's better and more disciplined than Renato. It would still be a risk. It would still be a risk to use Saul Niguez as a holding midfielder. But I think we're going to have to do something like that. I mean, Goretzka, Saul Niguez, Ruben Neves, Bissouma, they're not really, Camavinga, they're not really specialist holding midfielders, but I think every single one of them can become one. But But if we're going to buy them just to be box to box, it won't solve the problem, will it? It won't. Somebody's just telling me to check Twitter, which I'm just about to do. Rafael, here we go. Fabrizio Romano said that Rafael Varane is at training today and he'll be respectful the last day of Real Madrid, but his move to Manchester United is getting closer and closer. Work in progress to complete the agreement between the clubs. Real are now prepared to sell Varane as he wants. There you go. So that's from the Don. That's from the Don who we've got on this afternoon. Don Romano is on this afternoon on the United Stand at around 2:15, but he's already put a tweet out already today to say that Varane is at training but is leaving Manchester United, which is the only clarity I'm interested in. I couldn't give two shits whether he's at training, really. I thought it was quite big if he wasn't at training, but it's still very big that he is at training because he's being respectful, but he is going to go. Fine. Respect. And that's better for United anyway. That is better for United because as exciting as it may well have been that he wasn't at training, think of it like this. If he's not turned up for training to force a move, that's disrespectful to Madrid. It could get Madrid's back up and it could elongate the deal. It's actually better for everybody if Madrid, Varane and Manchester United have all got a smile on their face, they're all being respectful and they're all just, let's get through this as quick as we possibly can. And I think that is what's happening. Why is he leaving, says King? Because Real Madrid are shit and they're finished, basically. Next question. I'm only joking. He's leaving because it's his last big contract and Real Madrid's offer is pretty poor, really. A little bit like Ramos, you know. Real Madrid don't have a lot of money and they clearly don't want to spend big money on keeping people like Varane and Ramos. They want to keep them on the cheap, effectively. And the problem is the same problem that we're going to talk about with Paul Pogba. That Real Madrid can offer a fee that they feel is what they can afford, but Manchester United can come in and say, well, we'll double that because we can afford that and we know what a good player you are. It's supply and demand. Manchester United can offer more than Madrid want to offer. And then Varane goes, you know what? I've been at Madrid for 10 years. I've won everything here. I've got one big contract left. I can stay here and earn less money, then I can go and try something new. So it's the money and it's trying something new. That's why he's going to go. Is there any truth in the Koundé to United rumours, says Salah? Well, it's on my list to talk about later with Fabrizio, but it's from the Daily Mail at the moment, so we can get some clarity on that. But I've got a few things to talk to Fabrizio about later, so we'll clarify some of that. Also about Saul Niguez as well. Just on Paul Pogba, The Athletic is saying that Paul Pogba's deal has barely got going. Manchester United, Paul Pogba, Mino Raiola, they've barely sat down and had a chat. This is from The Athletic. Christian Romero is better than Rafael Varane, says Matt Hayes, Tottenham blog. Yeah, but Matt, with all due respect, you are a Tottenham fan, and saying Christian Romero is better than Varane is like saying Spurs are better than Man United. You know, you can believe it. You're talking horseshit, and if you believe it, you go for it. But you are talking out your arse, basically. In a couple of years, maybe Christian Romero is better than Varane and maybe Spurs are better than Man United. But right here, right now, you're in the minority. You're starring in Minority Report 2 with Tom Cruise, and that's your job because no one's gonna back you on that one. What percentage are you at now, Mark? Says Thomas Bennett. This is a bigger deal than Sancho, in my opinion. Varane is a top class player. Thomas, bit of positivity on a Monday morning. Definitely, well above 97%. I'm well above 97%. I'm 97.5%, and there's only 2.5% of me that think this can go wrong. I don't think it's going to go wrong. I'm never going to go 100%. I'll go 99% if you want me to, but I'm not going to go 100% because, you know, not until he's holding up the shirt, because anything can go wrong. But 99% sure, because he wants the move, Madrid want the move, and we want the move, and no one else is in. So, you know, there's nothing to worry about really, apart from, you know, acts of, you know, out of our control. You believe in News United regret giving De Gea contracts, as Salah Ahmed. I just think Manchester United on De Gea, before we go back to Pogba, I'll say what I think about that. Mark, can you give a prediction on where you think United will finish in the Prem next season and also the Champions League? Is trading with Kieran. Mate, I genuinely can't. Thanks for the super chat. I can't because I don't know what our transfer business is going to be. Remember, I always said that this summer was based on whether we get a holding midfielder or not. Well, we haven't got one yet. So I can't predict where we're going to finish based on the possibility that we're going to play with McFred in the midfield despite having Sancho and Varane. So I would say that we will comfortably finish top 4. I don't know where. I want to see us challenge for a title, but I can't predict that at the moment. And in the Champions League, we've got to get to the minimum of the quarterfinals. That's all I would say. But I can't predict yet based on what I don't know what we're going to do. But what I would say about Varane is, and I'll say what I've said a few weeks ago, if we get Varane, it's a better deal than Sancho. Because Sancho is a better player than Varane, but Varane is a more impressive signing because Sancho should have happened last year. Varane is a player, if you'd asked me at the start of the summer, I would have said that's the dream ticket, but we won't get him. I think I even said had a stream challenge United to get him, and if they do get him, I'll stand up and applaud it. It's a very, very good signing. It's a priority signing. We don't normally do this. We don't normally get the number 1 choice, and these things all feed into Ollie because if Ollie's getting number 1 signings like Sancho and Varane, he can't. He's got to win titles. He's got to. Can't hide behind the fact that he didn't get a centre back and he didn't get a right winger, or he did get a right winger, but it's a 5th choice one, and a 5th choice centre back. This is a very good deal for United if they get it done. But I'm not applauding the club, and I'm not applauding the Glazers, and I'm not buying that. I'm not going to sit there in brand new bloody Man United tracksuit tops or shirts because I'm Glazers out. And all these people that were protesting about Glazers out 2 months ago and are now wearing tracksuit tops and everything like that. Well, that's up to you. For me, that's slightly hypocritical. Just because we bought Sancho, what was the point in being part of the protests? But I'm still Glazers out. I'm still Glazers out, and I'm not going to change that opinion because we buy Varane and we buy Sancho. And I would urge people not to change their mind based on that because that allows the Glazers to win. This was a very predictable summer. They put barriers up outside Old Trafford. They were terrified. What's the best thing that the Glazers can do, considering they're billionaires? Oh, let's spend a bit of our own money to get the fans happy. Maybe this is the start of a new era under the Glazers, but it's been 16 years of a bad era. They need to do it this summer, next summer, the summer after that, the summer after that, and the summer after that. If they do this for 5 years, I'll look back in 5 years and go, you know what, maybe there is change coming. But it's 16 years of bad behaviour and ownership from the United. You can't change that in 16 weeks. And that's even if we get a holding midfielder. I'll applaud the Varane deal and I'll applaud the Sancho deal and I'll applaud it if we get a holding midfielder. But I'm not going to not be Glazers out just based off that. And it seems some people are that manipulated. I know the facts. I know I'm wrong. I'm just trying to make the pain better, says Matt Hayes. But Romero is a very good signing for us. Have you actually bought him? Because he was linked to Manchester United. Annie Bro says this will be a one summer thing. And I think anyone with a brain knows that probably will be the case. It's a very cheap investment for the Glazers to just paper the cracks and get everyone back on side by spending 100 million quid. But we'll see. We'll see. I still think this summer's about a holding midfielder. Going back to the De Gea thing and why I think this story's coming out that they're not happy about the wages that De Gea was given from the hierarchy who would have signed it off in the first place. I think the board know they can't go into next season with Henderson and De Gea. But they can't sell De Gea and they're not going to sell Henderson. So what they're going to do is they're going to loan De Gea out. But what they want to do is they want to manipulate you, the fans, to make you think that loaning De Gea out is a good business decision. It doesn't matter whether it's De Gea, McTominay, Paul Pogba, Anthony Martial. Anthony Martial's on 250 grand a week. If we loaned him out this season, would you say that's good business if we ended up loaning him to Sevilla and they could only afford 50 grand a week, so we pay them 200 grand a week to pay his full wage? So we're paying Martial 800 grand a month to go on loan to Sevilla. It's a terrible business decision. It was a terrible business decision to do it with Sanchez. But I think this is what United are trying to do. They're trying to... it feels like they're trying to turn the fan base against De Gea. We saw it with the media last year, and now we're getting these little stories again. Because ultimately, what they're going to do is they're going to pay De Gea 250 grand a week to go and play somewhere else on loan. $1 million a month, 12 million a year. And they're going to try and manipulate that to make you think it's good. It's never good. If they don't want him, they should have sold him. And if they don't want him, why don't they want him? And if they don't want him, why did you give him a massive contract on massive wages and go with a goalkeeper that's had a good season at Sheffield United? Aaron Ramsdale's had a good season at Sheffield United. Arsenal want him. Should we get him in goal and get rid of De Gea for him? That's what United are looking to do. I'm waiting for Varane to command the space and telling Wan-Bissaka not to hug him in the box like Lindelof to Spencer Silver Tower. And the Glazers need to clear the debt they gave us without limiting squad investment before I give them praise, says David. Oh yeah, mate, the debt at United's a disgrace. But let's go back to Paul Pogba. So the Athletic are saying that Paul Pogba... is it the Athletic? yeah, The Athletic are saying that Paul Pogba, Rafael Varane, Paul Pogba, Mino Raiola and Manchester United have barely sat down to even discuss any new contract offer yet. This, all I would say to that is, what a surprise, because this feeds into what I think is going to happen. I don't think that Manchester United and Paul Pogba are going to part ways this summer. Now, there is an update coming in from Varane, which I'll tell you about in a minute, because Romano's spoken about it again. So let me just get through Pogba and we'll go back to this Varane news. So, on Paul Pogba, Manchester United and contract negotiations have barely got going, right? But apparently he's going to PSG. Now, I lean towards what The Athletic are saying, because I personally think what's going to happen here is Pogba is not going to leave Manchester United to go to PSG. It just doesn't feel like it will happen. We're nearly in August. So Pogba doesn't leave this summer because he can't go anywhere other than PSG. So Pogba stays at Manchester United. Manchester United, therefore, hit September the 1st and the fans go, we can't get any money for Paul Pogba now because in January, he ain't going to go. We're not going to get any money for him because he's not going to get sold in January when in the summer he can just get loads and loads of money. So we hit September the 1st. Paul Pogba's still a United player. United have got a problem because the fan base has switched on and gone, well, we're not getting any money for Pogba now. Then he's basically running his contract down. Or so you thought. Because what will happen is, it will be what started off there in The Athletic. United and Raiola and Pogba are still talking about contracts and it's expected to go on for a while. There is still hope that we're going to get Paul Pogba to sign a new contract. And I always predicted this and I had no inside information. For me, it was just very logical that all next season, when Pogba's actually running his contract down, we will sell it that we're in negotiations. We're in negotiations with Pogba. And in January, there'll be stuff like, oh, he's talking to PSG and Juventus and Real Madrid and Barcelona. And we will be going, no, there's still a chance that he's going to sign a contract. We're still in negotiations with Raiola. And this will go all season until around June. And then we'll go, Pogba's off to Chelsea. And I think that's what will happen with Pogba. I think he will be a player with us next year. I think he will be very professional. But I think he's definitely going to go next summer for nothing. And he could go to Man City or Chelsea. I don't know why people don't think that could happen. I don't think he will. I think he'll go Spain. I think he'll go Real Madrid or maybe Barcelona. But we should open our eyes up to the fact that he's going to run his contract down. Definitely. Let's have a look at what's going on Twitter. So Jan Argefjortoft has said that Manchester United, I mean, it's all going off about Varane at the moment. Manchester United, the Spanish outlets are saying that Manchester United, Tier 1 update here from Real Madrid, Easter Real, who's got 40,000 followers on Twitter. He's saying, or she's saying, or they are saying, the agreement between Real Madrid and Manchester United is practically done. Varane is a Manchester United player. It's done pending medical works and they see, yeah. Why do people follow these ITK accounts on Twitter who jump on everybody else's news and try to be credible? But there is store that the transfer agreement is practically closed. It's going to be an interesting chat with Fabrizio this afternoon, isn't it? But the update that I was most interested in was this one from Jan Argefjortoft, where he'd said that Varane case is interesting. In my opinion, he and his agent have behaved correctly. Say nothing till a new deal is done. Respect also to selling club. And as Fabrizio Romano says, it's getting closer. Will he use the interest to get him a new contract at Real? Nothing suggests that. And then Fabrizio Romano has replied basically with, it's just a matter of time. But there are reports coming in from Spain that Rafael Varane is a red devil and the agreement is now practically closed. So let's just have a quick look at that. Let's have a look what's going on here. It's all going on this morning. The morning show is on like Pete Tong. So make sure you subscribe, by the way, and smash a like on the video. This is all happening whilst we are actually live on the show. Maybe Pogba going PSG is Riola's way of getting bigger contract offer from United, says Chris Pankhurst, because Pogba is not a mercenary, just wants to win things. And is Lindelof a good second choice centre-back for Varane? I'm worried how Liverpool struggled without Van Dijk, and we may too, says Ian. Yeah, but we did play all last season with Varane, with Lindelof and Maguire, and come second in the league. I don't think we can just bin Lindelof off as some totally useless centre-back now. I mean, he's not... My issue with Lindelof is that you could never win a title with him, and that's what we want to do. As a backup centre-back, I don't really care. So Varane is a red devil is hitting sort of social media at the moment, and this is coming in from various Spanish outlets. I mean, look, I feel justified, as I'm sure anybody does feel justified who's been very positive about this deal. I've been saying 90% club for what, 2 or 3 weeks? Because the stories coming in from Spain and Romano and a couple of other people were always very positive, both privately and publicly. And you gain a lot of confidence from that. But it feels we're into the final stages of this now. And I think we're almost at the point where we're talking about when's this going to get announced? When are we going to get Here We Go from Romano? When are the club going to announce it? And it's looking interesting, because the interesting thing for me is if we were to announce this maybe tomorrow, maybe a Here We Go today and a medical tomorrow, then an official announcement on Thursday, could be training on Friday. They probably wouldn't play he wouldn't play until the last pre-season game against Everton, but he has been in training, so his fitness levels would be quite good. Remember, Varane's not sat on a beach like Harry Maguire and Luke Shaw. He actually is training, so his physical levels will be quite good. It's about getting him involved, and Ollie will be eager to get him involved ASAP. As many pre-season games as possible. Now, it'll probably only end up being one at the end of the day, because I think we've got Brentford, haven't we? And then we've got Preston, and then we've got Everton. So he'd probably play against Everton. But it's now looking very exciting, because a lot of Spanish outlets are saying that this deal is basically done. He's already making anticipations, arrangements to come to Manchester United. This is from Manchester Evening News as well. Latest round negotiations over Rafael's Varane terms, which are close to being finalised. That's not right. I don't know why Luckhurst and the Manchester Evening News and Sky Sports and everybody else keep talking about personal terms, because they're wrong. They've been wrong about that for about 2 weeks. Personal terms are not an issue. The issue, it's almost like it's a defence mechanism to talk about personal terms. They did it with Sancho and they were proven wrong, and now they're doing it with Varane. Personal terms are not the issue here. They're not. And it keeps being mentioned by the English press, but it never gets mentioned by the Spanish press or Romano. But the English press get obsessed about personal terms. It's not personal terms. It's the fee with Real Madrid. That's what's been the hold-up for a week. It's not personal terms. How can it be personal terms when the reason he's leaving is because of personal terms? He's coming to Manchester United because our personal terms are double that of Real Madrid. Personal terms are not an issue here. It's the fee. It's always been the fee, and it was always the fee with Sancho, but we got told that it was personal terms as well. Can you remember a few weeks ago it was personal terms with Sancho, even though we agreed personal terms a year ago? Do you think we can get Haaland if we do a swap, says Isaac? With who? With who? With who? Who are we going to swap Haaland for? I've gone all Roy Keane. With who? You're having a laugh. You're talking out your ass. Real Varane has already made okay. We've got that as well. Fast updates coming in. We've got Fabrizio Romano on the show at 2 o'clock as well, by the way. So this is going to be very interesting. He might have already said here we go by then. He might be getting ready. David Ornstein, good journalist. He says that Manchester United are increasingly confident of signing Rafael Varane from Real Madrid. Talks with 28-year-old at an advanced stage and clubs contact intensifying. Pushing for fee below 50 million. Won't be signing a new deal. See, that's the update. That's the British update for you. That's proper journalism. Manchester United are pushing for the fee below 50 million euros, won't be signing a new deal, so Manchester United need to sell or lose for free. That's the updates. That's the best update I've seen from the UK in 2 weeks, because it's spot on. We're pushing, it's the fee that's holding it up. We're pushing for a fee below 50 million euros, and Real Madrid want 50 to 60 million euros. That's what's been holding it up. These stories that were sat with Varane going, do you want 12 million or 11 million a year? Well, I'm more than happy to take either because it's double what Real Madrid are giving me. Oh, just give us a figure, Raphael. Give us a figure. That's not the issue. Personal terms are not the issue. The issue is exactly what the Spanish reports and Romano and David Ornstein are saying there. The issue is Real Madrid want 50 million euros plus. Manchester United want to pay under 50 million euros. And this has been going on for about a week. So that is the update. That is where we are. And that is where anybody with a brain knows we are as well. That's from David Ornstein. Good update as well. Increasingly optimistic. And yeah, there's lots and lots of different stories. But you know what I find interesting about this is that we've been down this road so many times as Manchester United fans. We really have. Make sure you smash a like on the video, by the way. We've got nearly 2,000 watching. And do subscribe, bottom right-hand corner, because we've got Fabrizio Romano on the show this afternoon at about 2:15. Varane is in training. Let's have a summary of where we are. Varane is in training. We thought he wasn't in training. He is in training. It doesn't matter if he's in training because he wants to join Manchester United. Real Madrid want to sell him to Manchester United and Manchester United want to sign him for Manchester United. Those three things will make this deal happen. When it will happen, well, we believe it's going to happen for 50 million euros, which is 42 million pounds, which is a very good deal. There is still discussion because United think they can get him for less than that. Real Madrid want more than that. So they're getting closer and closer and closer. And reality is, you've now got people saying the deal's done because you're in that road where you can't go wrong. You know, it's a straight road with no turns and your destination's at the end of the road. So basically, we've got a straight road ahead. You can't go left, you can't go right. And at the end of it, Raphael Varane joins Manchester United. Now, people like Fabrizio Romano and all the credible journalists, they're driving along, waiting to get to the destination, and then they go, here we go. Unfortunately, you get the pretenders who haven't completed the journey, but know you can't go wrong. So they go, it's done. It's done. It's here we go, you know, because they want credibility. But you're never going to get credibility because you can't guess all the time. But we're on that one-way street now to Raphael Varane, to Manchester United. And if I could be asked, I could tweet it out and I could say it here, this deal's done. I got a text. The deal's done, everyone. Well, it isn't. It's not done until the people say it's done are done. And that's the people who know the people close to the deal. But Joshua Bowwater says basically 99.9% club. Yeah, if you want to go with that. If you want to go that, you can do. And I think that is going to be an update that we're going to get very, 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 very soon. And I'm interested to see when it will happen. But for around 45 million euros is what Carpick Marker are saying. If we get in for 45 million euros, I've got to applaud that because it's less than 40 million quid. And I think we're into that, or we're already into that area now where 50 million euro is 42 million pounds. If we can get in for 45 million, that's 38 million pounds. And, you know, at that point, look, all I want to see is Raphael Varane holding a Manchester United shirt but up by the end of the week. I think if we're still doing this next week, that's getting too late. If we can get him in by the end of this month, and then he's got 14 days before the game against Leeds, perfect. But we've got to get it done this week, and I think we will. That's what I think will happen. But there's so many updates coming in at the moment. The update is basically that Raphael Varane will be a Manchester United player. It's not official yet. It's not deal done yet. It's not here we go yet. But it is going to happen. He is in training. Real Madrid do want to sell. Manchester United do want to buy. It's not about personal terms. It's about the fee. And the fee is being argued between Real Madrid and Manchester United. And it's somewhere between 55 million euros and 45 million euros. And it will get done because Real Madrid need the money and they want to try and Mbappe. Do you think signing Varane would stop Aaron Wan-Bissaka defensive positional error, says Ichil? Well, I do think he'll get bollocked quite a lot by Raphael Varane, who says, why you standing on my grill, man? He'd be like that. He will. He won't stand for it. He'll be like, get out of my pub, get out of my face, get out of my way. You know, that's what he will do. So let's see. Thanks everyone for watching. We're going to be back at 2:15 with Fabrizio Romano. So don't miss that one. Don't miss that one. I've done David Ornstein's tweet. Thank you very much, Shade. We did it about 5 minutes ago, but thanks for tuning in late and missing it. You're always very welcome. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any updates. Bottom right-hand corner to do that. And smash a like on the video. And we will see you at 2:15 with Fabrizio Romano, where we'll be getting updates not only on Varane, but quite a few other things as well. And it will be a live show with Romano. So I'll speak to you in a little bit. So it'll be hot off the press, 2:15. Of course, we might be live back before then, but hopefully we will get a big update then. Speak to you all in a bit. Have a fantastic day. Good to be back. Fantastic show. Very interactive. Lots of news. That's how we like it. Thanks to our community, the best community, not only in Manchester United fandom, but I think the best community in fandom completely. I think you're the best. Thanks everyone for watching. Take care. I'll speak to you in a bit.